Speaking of, in particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy Do It.
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Right.
Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle, you weren't going to the parties. So what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true?
Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like, I didn't make the allegations, I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else, but I did feel uncomfortable with the way he would present the idea of going to these projects.
To come party with me.
Yeah. And then that's why I didn't hang out with him, right? Because it's fluffy stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my style.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time. I got uncomfortable with him because the way he was acting to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. Like, and I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
It's just weird, bro. Like, and now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards. Or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to a degree. Now, like, and when I say people respond, how people respond to things matter, like the internet will take to it and just go off with it. Meek responds being
50 Cent's new documentary doesn't simply revisit long-circulating rumors about Diddy's private parties. It challenges them head-on, naming figures and demanding accountability for years of unanswered questions. Once dismissed as the loud outsider, the rapper willing to joke about what others only whispered behind closed doors, 50 now trades punchlines for structure, organized testimony, archived clips, and documented industry moments woven into a full-scale narrative. This isn't clout-chasing theatrics. It's a deliberate shift into the role of storyteller for a history the music business preferred to leave untold. And as he speaks with intent rather than provocation, the conversation changes from, is he exaggerating, to a far more unsettling question. How long has everyone else been hiding what they knew?
I was like, yeah, like first he was amping him to get style. Then he was like, so when we gonna get the chance to kick it, like we can just hang out. Nigga, we gotta kick it.
This is okay.
He telling me we gotta kick it and shit. And he was like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, what the you just say? I got the away from him because I was like, this nigga just tell me he'd take me shopping.
Meek Mills. Well, he said a Philly rapper. You understand? And it was redacted in the paperwork to that because first of all, it had Meek Mills, it had Stevie J, they had redacted their names, and they had Usher, and they redacted their names and just said a performer of the Super Bowl and a Philly rapper. Everybody kind of knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that shit. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of shit, but I know this.
You better believe it. Shout out Def Jam, we the best. You know what it is. It's 2010, baby. It's the takeover. I'm going in.
Happy New Year to the whole planet. God is the greatest. Real talk. And you know, I mean, if there's anything that somebody can say better than that, I'm all ears. But with that being said, continuous blessings to the whole entire universe.
And peace out to my man Drake is in the house. Fabulous is in the house. There's no brotherly love. My biggest brother of them all, the boss, Ricky Ross, is in the house. Ricky Ross reports to the grass. DJ Tyler, he's the best. He's in the house. Tiana Taylor is in the house. My brother Chris Brown, I'm gonna stick with him from thick and thin. Chris Brown is in the house. You know what I'm saying? The song ain't right, so I know Chris Brown is in the house. Big shout to my son Quincy, my son Christian, my son
Drake, Rick Ross, Chris Brown, Teyana Taylor, Jay-Z. The documentary lays out a constellation of names that feels less like a party recap and more like a network map. It traces how many of the industry's most powerful figures crossed paths with Diddy at the height of his influence. Studio sessions, luxury trips, and late-night gatherings where phones were reportedly checked at the door and circles grew smaller as the night wore on. The film is careful not to declare guilt by association, but it does challenge the notion that nothing was seen, sensed, or questioned. When the same faces appear at the same private events again and again, the mystery shifts from whether anyone knew something to how many chose silence over confrontation. By the end, viewers are left with an uncomfortable question. Were these stars participants, prisoners of power, or simply willing bystanders?
First time I saw it was in a music studio. Like every other industry. First time I saw Paris Hilton's tape, A Night in Paris, was in the studio. The first time I saw Mary J. Blige being gagged on camera at Death Row after hours was in the studio.
Real life.
Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
And now, Jack, you spoke on Piers Morgan saying that you used to be in this world,
Yeah.
of the sex worker world, and you've seen kind of the depravity that the human mind could go to.
You want to know one of the reasons why I was able to put myself in position to get the deal that I got?
Yeah.
Because of my sex work. See, I had just enough dirt on the right person to get me past Hank Shockley, who was blocking me to protect Mary J. Blige's very fragile image.
So let me ask.
Listen to me.
Please.
Prostitute and actress meant the same thing in 1865. If you were called an actress, that meant you were a prostitute. See, it's the evolution of.
Yeah.
Look at young Miami. Look at that girl. Diddy brought me to my womanhood. Diddy, and I just said, baby, you need to work this out. You need to figure this out. As everyone now that she's being named in these lawsuits now figured out that this is a acting ass liar.
Yeah, I'm still
Drea
stuck.
Kelly talking.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on her saying I like to get peed on, and
And that's supposed to be normal.
yeah, to normalize it for the world at least. I'm like, damn, keep that between
Funny
you and
thing
your-
is, the 13-year-old girl who R. Kelly peed in her face on that video after having, statutory, whatever, well, think about that. That was glorified.
Correct.
That video was everywhere. And now we got girls say, oh, I love it when he pees on me.
Yeah.
Do you see the evolution?
Yeah, that video the DVD was being sold like,
First time I saw it was in a music studio.
damn.
Like every other industry porn. First time I saw Paris Hilton's tape, A Night in Paris, was in the studio. The first time I saw Mary J. Blige being gang raped on camera at Death Row after hours was in the studio. Why would all of this illicit be in a place where music is supposed to be being created, energy? Why would all of that be happening? Why would these things be hitting there before they make it out there to the world? if it wasn't working hand in hand.
One of the documentary's most unsettling segments revisits a moment that once seemed harmless. Meek Mill arriving at a party alongside Diddy in matching outfits, while 50 Cent, through archived interviews, reflects from a distance. In hindsight, 50 explains how the phrase, "let me take you shopping," carried an unusual weight in industry circles, language more commonly associated with romantic persuasion than casual mentorship between male artists who barely knew one another. Meek is framed not as a villain, but as an example. A young artist eager to rise, unaware of how certain images would later be reinterpreted once darker allegations emerged. The film then shows how online sleuths, podcasts, and fan communities had quietly connected these dots years before any legal proceedings ever mentioned Diddy by name. What began as jokes about weird vibes gradually formed a timeline of warning signs, leaving viewers with a haunting realization: how many careers were built on moments that only later revealed themselves as red flags.
Shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop. Stop it, man. You set that up. Look, obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. Guys may say to a girl, like, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think is happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on.
Wow.
Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now, we gotta hang out now, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, man, I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you can give me the hood. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the way. Certain things, they let it go by because it's fluff. He wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway.
All these years, you being the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
said you're a hater. They said
You're a
you're crazy.
hater. Yeah, and now everybody's...
There's the gay allegations about Meek Mill as well as Usher, but Meek Mill was the one that got real upset. He said, I'm not like he's everyone stop asking me if I'm gay. I'm not gay. And then you went in and then he essentially threatened to kill you.
So essentially what happened is we've been, I do long live streams. I'm streaming for like 5-6 hours. Like, when these things are happening, we're not just giving quick takes. Like, I'm going, like even today, I bought the Christian Combs document, like the entire lawsuit. We're reading it word for word. We want to see what's because a lot of times on these sites, I've always said, like, I kind of pride myself on trying to go the extra mile. A lot of people just go to, like, say, I don't know, Rolling Stones or Variety, and they see a summary of what's in the lawsuit, and they regurgitate it and even make it even smaller, and they put that out.
Yeah.
Well, I got time, and people want deep dives, no Diddy, and we got a lawsuit. So the Lil Rod lawsuit we got.
Yeah, I read through the whole thing,
and it didn't mention Meek by name, but there was a footnote.
A Philly rapper who used to date Nicki Minaj.
It looks like a Jeopardy question.
Duh, who is that? There can only be one person on the planet. Unless there's a Philly rapper that also dated Nicki that no one knows about. It's obviously Meek Mill.
So essentially, I reacted to, I literally found out on stream, like, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, no way Meek Mill was in these freak offs. Like, I know we've seen the video in the pool and the matching outfits, but no. Meek is like the toughest, biggest gangster. Like, he's like a killer. Like, no way he's like getting, bent over by Diddy, the diddler. So I reacted like,
Well, Puffy, I don't like him like that. Like, I don't like things that you do.
Right.
And make me uncomfortable.
So we're speaking on Diddy, we're speaking on Puff.
Yeah. Okay. But I don't have that thing where we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him, big. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other.
Right.
And we wasn't doing that. All right. So it gets to, with Jay, definitely not that. That's definitely not. It's just being competitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I look at it, I go, whoa. So I always go into what would I do in a situation like this? Like when that type of thing happens, and I'm going, I don't know. I hope things are all right for him internally.
Speaking on?
I mean, at the crib. Because in the statement they mentioned his
you're talking Jay.
His daughter would, being old enough to, because she about 13.
Right.
So it's the same age as his kids.
It went viral. And the next day, Meek, as I said, he's a special type of stupid, as 50 would say. He's seen me reacting to it and thought, I made it up. So he's like, yo, you know what I'm gonna do to academics when I catch it? Now, previously me and Meek had a truce.
Bro, I remember the last couple of times I brought his name and you're like, hey, listen, me and Meek are cool right now. I don't want to take any shots at him.
We had a truce. But Meek and him being so dense and being so dumb, he actually thought that I made up the lawsuit. And by the way, even after he started threatening me, and I said, I didn't make it up. I said, just clear up whatever it is, but I didn't make it up. You know what he said? This is clearly AI generated. Like, I'm like, yo, Meek, Meek is so dumb he couldn't even spell AI. Like, how the hell you know this is AI generated? Bro, this is an actual lawsuit. I'm showing him, like, look, it's filed in federal court.
Right.
Nah, this is
Here's
lies.
the PDF file.
Exactly. So,
the PDF's AI.
Yeah, so he basically starts, he says, you know what, man, he's like, yo, he starts going like off the deep end. He hasn't even cleared up the rumors yet. Like, rather than saying, hey, this is lies, I'm gonna have my attorney, deal with any salacious lies spreading about me like a normal entertainer would. I am not gay or whatever the case is, or I've never been in any sexual situation with Diddy. He says, I'm gonna kill you academics, and what I'm gonna do is, he says, first things first, he says, someone send me academics address.
He said, I'll die to shut you down.
Yeah, then he says, I'm going to die to do it. Then it was
which is crazy. Which is a crazy thing to say. Meek he's cut it out. You're not gonna die to shut down academics. You're a multimillionaire with a great career and kids. Cut it out. Yeah, grow up.
Meek literally then tweeted out a couple tweets after. He said, well, the governor just called me. And I was just like, this makes like, wait, you're planning a murder online. And the governor calls you to talk you out of it? Like, also, the reason why him and the governor are in cahoots is primarily because
The documentary suggests that 50 Cent didn't simply react to the scandal. He's been quietly archiving it since the late 90s. Here, the tone shifts from gossip to strategy. Former staffers, security personnel, and industry insiders describe how 50 maintained deliberate emotional and physical distance from Diddy's inner circle, even when aligning more closely could have been financially beneficial. According to these accounts, he listened, observed, and remembered, operating on the belief that when powerful figures abuse their influence long enough, the systems protecting them eventually fracture. Now, as lawsuits, testimony, and public scrutiny accumulate, the film positions itself not as a sudden ambush, but as the delayed release of long-held suspicions. Yet the real tension isn't only in what's shown, it's in what audiences believe remains unseen, leaving one final question hanging. If this is what made the first cut, what's still locked away in the vault?
Chick that's being shopped around, a Diddy and another mill, they say the other mill is an A-list celebrity.
I would wonder if he's white or black. And if I'm looking at any black guys that are A-listers that's bigger than Diddy, there's only one that I could come up with. And there's a few I could come up with. Will Smith, he's bigger than Diddy. I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business that's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy, that's black? That's hard to think. But then if you got the A-listers, you got to realize he ran with that that Rat Pack. And I don't want to even say their names, but they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner? What's the other guy? Leonardo? Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats. But I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people. So there's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they're really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it was some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy. And they're gonna have to bring that to the forefront because the prosecutor's gonna want those tapes. And they're going to do whatever they have to do legally to get those tapes. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So we just better hope for his sake, that that's just a bunch of bull crap. But then there's lawyers out there saying, yeah, the tape does exist. Lawyers got on television to say the tapes exist. I don't really know or trust that, because they was trying to say he had a tape with one of the bodyguards and this lady that came out. So we don't know what to think until we actually see that and we get that version. You remember we had that bootleg version of R. Kelly tape?
Yeah, I remember that.
They don't even bootleg. Yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's going to be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that's more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger, you know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all is by surprise to me. A lot of is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy, I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks is all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. You got Jay-Z dancing with a chick that's into cannibalism and supposed to be witchcraft and stuff like that. When did we start doing that? It's messing up who we are and our culture. And these guys is out here selling it to us like it's all right. And it's not all right, bro. We got to get back to us and what hip hop was meant to be. Not what they want you to think it's supposed to be.
One of the documentary's most controversial segments moves carefully into indirect territory, examining how alliances, marriages, and branding can insulate powerful figures from scrutiny without accusing anyone of wrongdoing. It explores how Jay-Z's public image appeared to evolve after his partnership with Beyoncé, shifting from hustler-turned-mogul to a meticulously curated symbol of elegance, legacy, and corporate legitimacy. Commentators note how institutional recognition, from major awards to elite industry backing, seemed to accelerate after their union, prompting questions about how image-making functions at the highest levels. The film does not suggest their relationship is inauthentic. Rather, it raises the idea that in an industry built on optics, personal life and business strategy often become inseparable. By the time the segment fades out, viewers are left with a lingering thought. In a world where brand is everything, how do you distinguish a genuine love story from a long-term public narrative shaped for protection and power?
The lawyer came out with about how he wasn't really friends with Diddy. From your point of view, was they really friends or not?
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it. But I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So, I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I didn't know anything about that, man. I didn't know about, Jay touching his, ass. I gotta go see the video. I didn't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pockets 1A, 1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with him.
I'm never a fan of somebody that I was gonna knock out. And then we was at the, it was me, him, Ashley Kushner, Puff and them. We was all at the Nets game together, and he didn't even remember none of it. And I don't expect him to remember, but I remember. You understand? And he told Puff, he said, yo, Puff, yo, I heard about that Gene right there. That Gene got a mean left. Oh, he said, that Gene a knocking out. Then he gonna come up to me and say, man, you look like, man, you a turn the ass up. And I said to himself, I said, yo, no Diddy. Pause. Whatever. I said, he don't even remember. I was about to knock him the F out. He didn't even remember. He said to me, to Laura. That's how these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you gotta understand, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating in his early 30s? You're not going to go for that.
Next, the documentary closes by shifting the spotlight away from celebrities and back onto the people who say they were hurt while everyone else partied Cassie's lawsuit, Jonathan Audi's earlier claims, and the uneasy archive of Justin Bieber's teenage interactions with Diddy are placed side by side with fresh footage of Kanye showing up to court in support. And with Smith publicly insisting he was never involved in any freak-offs, some celebrities are running from their past associations. Others are trying to explain them. A few are still standing suspiciously close. Through it all, 50 positions himself as the outsider who never joined the inner circle, which is why he can speak without fear of someone pulling out a matching secret. As the screen fades to black, the documentary doesn't hand you a neat conclusion. It leaves you with one pressing question. Now that the stories are finally being told, who will be remembered as a victim? Who as an accomplice?
That civil suit turned into a look. They looked at it like maybe it's a criminal situation.
Right.
A little early, and it could have been the same lobbyists and the same people that use their connections to make that happen for Puff.
Is that kind of why you was going hard on him the last couple years? Is it because of the liquor situation? Because, to be honest, since the situation he's in now, it's kind of like you fell back on him. Was this all over the liquor, or you just said?
Well, most of that was motivation, and that was competing,
right?
But with brands, and he was ahead of me,
right?
Because he had been working on Ciroc and stuff like that, and then integrating it into our culture with Coco Loso and different things with different people connected to it. So yeah, that's what that was. But when you look at, he would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like
when I seen that Diddy stuff from CNN, I said, I know Art gonna call me. Art of Dialogue gonna give me a call.
Oh, you already know I was about to hit you, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So with that being said, man, let's get right into it, man. What you think about the video that came out today of Diddy pitting his hands on Cassidy?
Man, that was crazy. And I know people gonna think that, yo, this is all what Gene wanted to see. But no, listen here, man. The devil got a purpose, God got a plan. Do you understand what I'm saying? The devil got his purpose, but God got a plan. You understand? And it's all in God's plan, man. You understand? To let people see, because a lot of people wasn't believing that this stuff even existed, brother. A lot of people didn't even think that Cassie was telling lies, Gene been telling lies, Lil Rob been telling lies, everybody lying on Diddy. But Diddy told the truth. Diddy's the only one told the truth. He said, y'all, just keep watching. The truth will soon come out. And you see what came out? My man, he punching that little girl in the head. Yo, you don't even kick a dog, man. You don't even kick a dog, bro. He kicking that little girl like she's a dog, man. It was crazy, man. Any man that has a sister, any man that has a friend that's a girl, any man that has a child, you understand, who saw that, if they wasn't appalled, if they wasn't like, yo, I want to beat the, you know what I'm saying? We can't say that on television, man, or on the internet or YouTube, but any man who saw that wish they could put their hands on Diddy at that time, bro. That shit was appalling, bro. It was crazy, man. And when I saw it, I could imagine what Kim went through. I could imagine what Misa went through. You understand? It was just crazy, man, for that dude to do that to that girl like that, man.
I can't believe what I seen, man. I still can't believe what I seen in that video, man. Like the way he was kicking her was like he was kicking a field goal, man.
Bruh, when I saw him run down first of all, when I saw the white towel, I got flashbacks of him and Ja Rule running out the room. Of course, they had, what's her name, Sarah and the other girl in there, but I had that flashback. And then when I seen him run down the hallway, I had flashbacks when the same gang was chasing him. I was like, what the hell? And then when he put his hands on it, no jokes aside, because I know it's not no laughing matter, man. This just was appalling, brother. And I don't even know how they could even play that on television, on YouTube like that, and without even putting up some sensitive, you know how they put the sensitive subject matter up? That was crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it, man. I mean, because like I said, me and you been doing interviews for years, and you've been telling me stories about Diddy.